Bonsoir, mes amis. Welcome back to Monaco. Last time, we finished destroying the evidence. This time, we'll continue cleaning up after the gentleman. As usual, we're introduced to a new item. This one being the submachine gun. Just because the guards get them doesn't mean we can't. The submachine gun operates similar to the shotgun, in that it will kill guards. The difference being in that it shoots in a straight line, and it also shoots many bullets in a straight line. Unlike the ones the guards carry, this will kill them in one hit. But for much the same reason I don't like the shotgun, I don't like using the SMG. Something I want to mention while it's still fresh. At the outset, when we were hearing the mission, the locksmith mentions that he thinks maybe it's in their nature to be seduced by crime. If you recall from the level of the scorpion and the frog, a good part of that fable was, I do things because it's in my nature. Just a neat little callback if you're into that sort of thing. Now that we've seen the dance floor, I'll be honest, this is probably my favorite level in the game. In part because it's difficult. I believe this is the first time the game truly pulls off the training wheels and just expects you to go. It seems extremely intimidating at first, considering just how many civilians there are out there on the dance floor. And it definitely is. But even if I wasn't playing the gentleman with his disguising capabilities, I would and have done this with other characters who do not have such a crutch. A big part of what makes this mission possible is this is really the first time you are introduced to the concept of these don't necessarily offer you an immediate threat. So you do have time to do what you need to with them to get around them. I apply that mostly to civilians because the only way the civilians can hurt you is by going and grabbing a nearby guard and getting them to come get you. Luckily, the layout of all the guards in this area are that the heavily armed guards are more on the outskirts of the area. All the civilians, they're close to melee guards only, who you have a much better chance of outrunning. This isn't to say that the pistol guards don't come into play. If you spend enough time or alert enough people, the pistol guards will come out and see what's up. But for the most part, the only guards you will have to worry about are the melee guards. This is a pretty good example of when you would just sprint through an area and grab as many coins as possible before making good your getaway. There are a lot of coins out there, and there's really no way to get around alerting the civilians. So my consideration is just that the best way to do it is just to rush in, get it done, and get out of the way before anybody can pinpoint where you are. Something up here in the DJ booth, those red squares. Those red squares are attached to alarm panels. If you step on the red square, it sets off the alarm. I'll actually be covering those more in detail on the next level. Or rather on the bottom floor of this level. If you're quick, you can get out of there without causing too much issue. But let's head to the underground dance party. I got a little bit of oontz in my step. As you can see down here, there are significantly more red panels. I don't actually know why these are installed in a nightclub. You'd think that whenever somebody gets a little too rambunctious while dancing, they'll set off the alarm, but what do I know? I'm not an entrepreneur. Something else to notice on this bottom floor is that most of the area is dark, but they have these spotlights sweeping back and forth. The spotlights, if they catch you on their beam, they will track you, but by themselves they don't cause an alarm. The only thing the spotlights do is make it easier for anybody who's looking a direction to see you. Normally, as we're on the outskirts here, we're in darker areas and not in much threat of being seen. But once we actually get out onto the floor and the spotlights catch hold of us, anybody looking our direction will have much clearer vision of us. And stand by for some dance music. It's a little bit messier than trying to get through the dance floor on the street level floor, but it works just as well. Unfortunately, with just how many civilians are looking in your direction, it doesn't matter how good of a disguise you have when you're passing by the dance floor at the top, you will get noticed. Even if you have a full disguise, it will go down to almost nothing in no time at all. Another thing that makes this mission a bit difficult is that, even with all the security measures that are available, there aren't many computers around to circumvent them. On the street level floor, for instance, the only computer available was in the DJ booth. And the DJ booth, obviously, is manned by 2 DJs, along with all the civilians who are otherwise watching it. This mission becomes definitely an exercise in getting around the security appliances rather than getting through them. up in our top right, we can see the Redhead. But I'm going to put off on getting her for a little bit, just because, as a character, I find her extremely hard to use effectively. So, let's talk about the Redhead while she's on screen. The Redhead's special ability is to be able to charm angry enemies. You'll notice that there's a heart over her head as it is. The first enemy that sees the Redhead and becomes alerted will sort of fall under the spell of the Redhead and start following her around. This only applies to the first guard she sees, and only as long as that person has sight of her. If the guard or civilian loses sight of her for about a second, it'll dissolve. What charm guards can do for you is open alarm doors and open lock doors. Used right, I'm fairly sure that's going to be a pretty powerful skill, but I've just never been able to quite master it. Maybe it's because I have a bad habit of seducing one guard and then immediately running into two more. You can only have one guard seduced at a time, so that can be more trouble than it's worth at times. Still, the ability to have a guard unlock a door instantly for you is definitely pretty nice to have. The guard doesn't even have to be close to the door to unlock it. Just as long as he's following you, you'll be able to get through it instantly. This does not apply to getaway cars, however. And with that, we take our leave of the discotheque. Please join me next time when we go and find out that diamonds are, in fact, forever.